welcome to Freiburg. The Toyota 1000 Desert Race gets underway from here. Over the next 3 days, competitors will face what is most probably one of the toughest events on the South African motorsport calendar. Ahead of them lies the unyielding Kalahari Desert, and they have to negotiate 1,000 kilometers. And if they'd like to be there at the end of the National Championship log, they'll have to do well in this one particularly. More than 100 intrepid off-roaders converged on Freiburg, and the opening race section consisted of a 70-kilometer loop starting and finishing in Freiburg. This would determine start positions on day 2. Pre-race favourites were Philip Milan and Richard Leek in the Toyota Hilux.
Vandag is dit 'n baie belangrike situasie om om die vinnigste tyd op te sit, dat ons môre eerste kan wegtrek. Maar met die kaland Hannes Grobler en sy massiewe monster wat hier is dit miskien ver gesocht om te dink ons sal dit reg kry. Maar ons gaan beslis probeer, want môre sal dit vir ons 'n baie groot voorsprong gee as ons uit die stof uit kan bly.
The Toyota pair faced stiff competition from the likes of previous winners Hannes Grobler and Piet Swanepoel in the Nissan Skyline rally car.
Ons is op die oomblik besig om 'n ander voertuig voor te berei vir veldrenne. Hy was ongelukkig nie betyds klaar nie, en omdat ons hierdie veldren so baie geniet hier rond, het ons besluit ons moet kom jaag, en al ding wat ons toe kon kry is die ou tydrenmotor wat ons in 1986 die kampioenskap ook mee gewen het. En toe die manne ingespring en ons is hierso.
Brothers Klaus and Gert Degener in the Duckham's Chenoweth were confident of a good result.
I think the main competition must be Philip Milan and Richard Leek in the turbocharged Toyota Hilux. Kasi Kutsia, if they don't have any problems, will definitely be a challenge. And of course, Hannes is there in his rally car. The Audi Quattro has won it before. It's not that rough a race that a rally car can't do well. So I would say those three are my main sort of competition.
The first racing section produced a few problems for some of the more fancied competitors like Milan and Leek in the Toyota, who had to be content with the 4th fastest time. The Stellaland trial determines grid positions for the start of the race proper, and there is always a scramble for the top positions. The first major casualties were the Degener brothers. Only 20 kilometers into the race, they blew the Chenoweth's engine and were forced to hitch a ride back to the main road.
You're going fast at that bang, yeah. We were about 5,500. It wasn't actually that much. Coming into a turn in a mini field. And it just said bang, and that was it.
That's you out of the race for the whole lot.
Unfortunately, yeah. We can't change motors, so that's it.
There were also problems for former national rally and off-road champions Grobler and Swanepoel. Grass clogged up the Skyline's fuel system, and it cost the pair 40 minutes, putting the Springboks well down the list. They eventually dropped out altogether on the final day. Veteran Jack Spencer and Steve Vermaak in the Duckham's Sandmaster set fastest time of the day to snatch pole position after Milan and Leek in the Toyota Hilux also ran into problems. Second fastest time went to Robin Yates and Wildman Bales in the Permastick Race Go, with rally stars Kasi Kutsia and Wiley Harrington third fastest in the BP Nissan. Fastest qualifier Jack Spencer was in a confident mood.
Happy, we must just try and keep on the route, and in that respect I got Steve Vermaak to look after me. Should be all right.
At the end of the first section, the top 10 positions on the start grid saw an even split between the bakkies and the single and twin-seater space frame vehicles. Die motorfietsafdeling en kenners het 'n taaistryd tussen 4-jaars voorspel. Jeremy Davies op die Dryruns Kawasaki het vir sy derde agtereenvolgende oorwinning in die ren gemik, en hy was die gunsteling om die bruiswyn te spuit.
I'm going to give it a good go this year. There's a lot of competition, and I think it's going to be a dice between me, Elfie and Willie Island right to the end. But I'm going to go for a good time today and try right from the front and set the pace. It's difficult because you have to do a lot of navigating and get lost. You run against the traffic and that, but I'll give it a good bash.
Davies sou egter taai mededinging hê van Greenup KTM se Willie Island.
It's always nice to start off in front, but I like to just start maybe second or third always. Let somebody else lead the pack, because somebody always goes wrong, you know, and you always got that pressure behind you if you're in front. So if I just come in the first 3, that's fine.
Die driemalige kampioen Hilton Beatty, ook op 'n Greenup KTM, sowel as Alfie Cox op sy NGK Kawasaki, sou ook vir Davies onder druk plaas.
You know, this is a hell of a race, eh? 1,000 kilometers of sometimes the worst conditions that you could ever come across. Toyota 1000 is known as the desert race of all desert races.
Die vinnigste motorfietskombinasie in die eerste renskom was Hilton Beatty en sy Greenup KTM. Hy was amper 'n minuut voor Davies met Island derde en Patrick Andrews vierde. Gavin Nimmo was volgende op 'n Winston Yamaha met die 50-jarige Joe van Altena, die oudste jaar in die byeenkoms 6ste op 'n 200cc Kawasaki. Die fikse van Altena was vol selfvertroue en gereed om 'n jongerjaars 'n ding of twee te wys.
When they look over their shoulder, if they see me biting on the front of my helmet, boy, they know I don't give in.
Race well.
And in 87, I won the roof in the 200 class. I'm ready for them. Anytime, anywhere, you tell those youngsters, JVA is ready.
Nou ja, die uitslae vir die motorfietsafdeling toon dat die Kawasaki span 4 plekke verower het in die top 10 teenoor die 3 elk van KTM en Yamaha. The Kalahari 1000 Desert Race has certainly lived up to its reputation once again. They start off with a stellar land trial which predetermines grid positions on the start of the second day. A cold Northern Cape day dawned, but things were destined to hot up for the races. The route for the second day saw competitors head for the refuel at Linnepen and then set sail for Taylor's Pan on the Botswana border via Heninvlei Pan. Malan and Leek in the Toyota Hilux lost little time in forging their way to the front on day 2. They stormed ahead of the crews in front of them, and at the refuel, they'd open up a sizable lead. At Taylor's Pan, they were 11 minutes ahead of Reineke Andrea in the Nissan, who won this event 2 years ago. Reineke Andrea moved ahead of Cassie Coetzee and Wiley Harrington in another safari, with a third safari fourth in the hands of Linton Draper and Peter Smith. Yates and Bales were leading Class 8 with Richard Carolyn in front in Class 9 in Brother Bucks Carolyn's lubrication equipment race car, while Dave and Greg Gurney were having a good run to lead Class 4 in an Isuzu. The top 10 at the end of racing section 2 saw the Buckies starting to dominate. There were 6 Buckies in the top 10, maintaining a Toyota 1000 tradition. Die opwindendste konfrontasie vir die dag was ongetwyfeld die tussen Willie Island en Jeremy Davies. Die 2 jaars het die hele pad geveg en die ruwe terrein gereeld langs mekaar aangepak teen snelhede van tot 170 km/h. Alfie Cox het ook goed gevaar om die voorste jaars in sig te hou en by die oornaghalte was hy net 90 sekondes agter hulle. Die aanvanklike voorloper Hilton Beattie was 4de ondanks 'n beenbesering wat hom mettertyd sou dwing om te onttrek. Davies was voor in die 500cc klas, Island in die 250cc klas en Van Altena in die 200cc klas. Die veteraan van Altena moes egter ook te opgooi nadat hy verskeie ribbes in 'n valslag gebreek het. Aan die einde van die tweede dag was Kawasaki in 'n sterk posisie met 4 fietsse in die voorste 10 plekke. Alle oë was egter op Davies en Island gerig. At Taylor's Pan, crews took a well-earned rest. The braai fires were started. There was plenty of opportunity to discuss the day's racing, and it all adds up to the special appeal of the Toyota 1000. Early the next morning, it was back to serious racing, with Malan and Leek in the Toyota Hilux leading the field away on the final leg of what was turning into a real cliffhanger. The final section saw crews backtrack along the previous day's route. The warm welcome waiting back at Vryburg Motor Club was something to look forward to. Reineke Andrea quickly put the pressure on Malan and Leek, and at the refuel had made up 10 minutes. The Toyota had developed gearbox problems, and Malan and Leek lost four-wheel drive. Reineke Andrea moved into the lead, but were to run into problems of their own. They first hit a cow, and then managed to take a wrong turn. It cost them valuable time, and gave Malan and Leek some breathing space when they moved back into the lead. Yates and Bales were going well in third spot in the Permastick Raceco, and still headed Class 8 ahead of Spencer and Vermaak in the Duckham Sandmaster. Further down the field, Bill Angus and Derek Weatherall were leading Class 3 in their battered Toyota Hilux after a high-speed encounter with a tree, and Alfred van Vuren and Piet Pelser were in the lead in Class 5 in another Toyota Hilux. Richard Carolyn was also going well in Class 9, as were the Peterse brothers at the head of the Class 10 field. For Coetzee and Harrington, however, it was the end of the road shortly after the refuel when they retired with mechanical problems. For Malan, it was his first Toyota 1000 Desert Race win, with Leek scoring his second success. Julle het 'n bietjie van 'n probleem gehad, vertel ons daarvan.
Dit was basies die radkas, het baie seer gekry en ons moes hom met per hand inhou die hele pad en hy Maar in die eind het ons maar net besluit, nou moet ons maar gaan. Ek kan nie langer wag nie.
Die manne het julle ingehaal ook op 'n stadium daar. Daar was net 'n minuut verskil op een stadium.
Ja, wel ons het maar net die kar probeer spaar en toe besluit ons dat dit spaar help nou nie meer nie. Hou nou maar betaal maar en toe ry ons.
Springbok navigator Leek boasted battle scars with blisters, the result of holding the gear lever in place over the final 200 kilometers. Reineke Andrea charged home to a well-earned second place after a race-long tussle with Milan and Leek.
Ons was so omtrent vir 150 km voor Philip en net voor ons die pafwiel gekry het, sy by ons verby en ons was in sy stof, ons moes seker 'n klip of iets raak gery het.
The popular Robin Yates and Wildman Bales drove consistently to finish third overall and also had the distinction of being the first twin-seater crew across the line. Class 3 victors Bill Angus and Derek Weatherall found the going a little tough in their Toyota Hilux.
For the refuel point, on the way back, and we were on a high-speed section, about 140 kilometers an hour, and the car jumped out the track and went sideways into a big tree. And we obviously very grateful for that we actually got out safely, because we would have rolled many times if it wasn't for the tree. However, we're all safe and sound and back home. That's all that counts.
The event produced a dream result for Toyota, who not only clinched overall victory but also took the honours in 3 classes and in the prestigious Manufacturers Team Award. Die motorfietsjaars kon minstens 2 ure langer as die 4-wielbrigade slaap en kenners het 'n taaistryd tussen Davies, Island, Cox en BT verwag. Dit het egter gelyk asof die geluk nie aan BT se kant was nie.
It's just in this first section in the tight stuff where I've got to put my leg down. I'm scared of twisting it again, you know. So I just have to take it easy on this first section. And on the flat out stuff, it's alright. I don't have to worry about touching or whatever. I can just keep my feet on the pegs.
Die beseerde BT moes mettertyd onttrek. Voor hom het die stryd tussen Island, Davies en Cox egter onverpoost voortgeduur. Island op die Greenup KTM was eerste by die Linop en hervalpunt, meer as 'n minuut voor Davies met Cox op die NGK Kawasaki ook steeds in die prentjie in die 3de plek.
Hey, Coxen!
Na van Alton se onttrekking was Ralph Pitchford ook op 'n Kawasaki voor in die 200cc klas. Hy is gevolg deur John Hodgson op die KTM en Jason Andriaika wat albei bestendig gejaag het. Die uiters fikse Davies het in die laaste 200 km van die roete daarin geslag om onder Cox en Island uit te suil deur die groter krag van sy 500cc fiets doeltreffend in te span. Hy was by die eindpunt 6 minute voor sy Kawasaki spanmaat. Vir 'n tevrede Cox was dit die tweede agtereenvolgende jaar wat hy tweede geëindig het in die taaie wedren.
Well, he started off with a quick pace this morning, so I just had a hold there. I knew after about 100 odd k's that it got quicker, and I got the legs on him there. So if I could stay with him to there, I could pull him on the quick stuff. So when I got to the 4th stop and he wasn't there, I knew I could hold it home. So it's nice to be in.
'n moe Willie Island op sy Greenup KTM wat dwars deur die ren deur 'n griepaanval getuister is, moes met 3de plek tevrede wees.
I can't even speak. I've been riding it through the whole day. I couldn't even see anymore.
Met oorwinnings in al 3 die klasse was Toyota se woestynren 'n sege vir Kawasaki. Ook Davies was meer as gelukkig met sy 3de agtereenvolgende oorwinning in 'n ren wat ook in 1985 deur sy broer Mark ingepalm is. But when all is said and done and you've completed the desert race, you know you're a